Mark McGrath graced Columbus, Ohio, Steve. Keaton, Bale, this. So number 3. This is very iconic because you get the quality of like the Danny Elfman soundtrack. Vladdy's in there just with a straight up like Big Lots fit.
Happened in the 90s.
No, you've got some other good ones, man. I feel like I never told you this before because I've heard your impressions over the years, and I feel like you have a Regis Philbin tapped in. If you really like, I don't know, rehearsed it a couple times because I hear variations of a possible Regis.
I'm sitting here talking to Steve G. Gelman, get over here. Rub my feet. It's there. I need to hear him again. It's been a while. Rest in peace, Regis.
R.I.P. Yeah.
Is he okay? Yeah, I was gonna say gone, but not forgotten. Obviously, dude. You know why I get like nice feelings inside when I hear about Regis Philbin? Obviously, we all loved Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but just being able to watch Regis and Kathy Lee when you were a kid meant that you were home from school and you didn't have to go to school that day. It was like Price is Right, where it was like, this isn't even my show, but I'm just happy to be here right now. This is great.
Yeah. And I'm not going to be here for a long time. I got to go back to school tomorrow, probably, but I'm just glad. I appreciate this opportunity. Another thing about them, man, I like how they gave wrestlers a format, a platform. They like in daytime, because Arsenio, he would have wrestlers on from time to time, and maybe Jay and David, they would do it too. But like in the daytime, like not too many people gave those guys a platform, man. So you would see an Ultimate Warrior on Regis and Kathy. You might see a Hogan or even a Kevin Nash and Shawn Michaels. They were even guest stars on one of the WrestleManias. I want to say 7.
Gelman, what do you think about Big Daddy Cool? It's there. I can hear his voice in my head. I like that. Okay, that's homework, Steve. I'm gonna go and do some homework.
Just got to do like New York it up a little, and maybe a high pitch. Who was it? Was it Daryl Hammond? That would be like their designated Regis guy. I think he was.
I'm at Mario Batali's restaurant. All of a sudden, Jake the Snake Roberts comes over. Kathy Lee's like, "Oh my god, Snake, Gelman." Gelman. I don't know why I remember Gelman so much. Gelman was like his like number 1 or something. He was like his punching bag
on the show, right?
Yeah, he was like a producer on Regis and Kathy. He was just like throw to him all the time, like, "Hey, Gelman, what do you think? Me, Kathy." See, I'm going weird Hollywood producer with it now. I'll figure it out, Steve.
And then he gets excited.
Yeah,
he gets a little bit excited sometimes.
Who did Regis on SNL? Somebody did him I
think it was Daryl Hammond.
Was it? Yeah, I think you're right. Oh yeah. Well, shit, dude. Yeah. Well, I was telling everybody while you were gone. I guess we'll just get right to it.
Yeah.
About seeing just a 90s extravaganza in Columbus, Ohio last weekend. Lit, Tonic, and Sugar Ray. Mark McGrath graced Columbus, Ohio, Steve.
Did he show off the body tats?
He was not shirtless, but I gotta give it to Mark McGrath. He looks. It's pretty much the same. He's got the hair. He makes fun of the frosted tips a little bit. We were far away, and I was looking at a video screen to get the close-ups, but still. And this is what I like about these guys, Steve. They're not like delusional. They know where they're at in their careers. So this whole concert was like, thank you guys. We are so happy that you guys are still coming out to these shows. This is crazy. We were doing this like 30 years ago. People are still here to see this stuff. So I was like, I didn't want to go and like have Mark McGrath just like big dick it and come out and do 2 songs and leave. Quality show, Steve. I was a fan of really not any of these bands too much, but it took me back. And there was a lot of people that wanted to go back to the 90s. And it kept being referenced on stage, too. Everybody's like, what's the greatest decade? I was like, guys, we have a show. We have a show.
That's the perfect opportunity to promote. And like the cool thing about Sugar Ray, I bet they switched it up, man. They don't just have one gear. Like they can do some rock stuff, they can do some pop punk type stuff. They could even go like jazzy and kind of get into a groove, man. So
Oh,
how
and
was
they
that?
also were just playing. They were having fun. Lit and Tonic had to get the hits out, just get off stage. But then McGrath came out. He played
Yeah,
They played a couple of hits. You know, I mean, it was all hits that they played. It's not like they were playing B sides. But then I forget
yeah.
what I texted you and Jordan what they were playing. But they started doing like covers of '90s songs and stuff. So they're having fun, dude. And as somebody in the '90s, I would have never probably gone to a Sugar Ray concert in the '90s if I was of age to have done so. But very happy I did in the 2020s, Steve. Fantastic.
Dude, didn't you say they did a cover of No Scrubs?
Yes. They did 30 seconds of No Scrubs. Yeah, I should look up what I texted you guys because I did text you what they did, but it was just fun,
That's
man. I haven't seen other than Limp Bizkit. I haven't gone to see a lot of like '90s bands that I loved a lot, and I
yeah.
have seen Limp Bizkit, and they're still. I mean, for what they are, I mean, I loved it. I thought it was great. They sound great.
Oh
Same with
man.
this. And as soon as you hear the songs, it's like I said, it's like fucking turning on Buzz 106.5 in Toledo, and we're 12 years old. Like, oh, all the feelings.
Man.
No, big '90s titties coming out though, Steve. I thought that we were going to get some old '90s concert energy where chicks are just flashing or guys or whatever, but it was pretty subdued. We were all
That's
just
the
enjoying
fault.
some good food.
Yeah. Thank God you didn't, man. The kids are around probably.
Yeah, there were definitely some kids that you could tell were being drugged there by their our age parents to go,
Yeah.
relive the glory days.
This is what we listened to in the 1900s, son.
This is it. This is the best music. Mark McGrath, this is as good as it gets, kids.
And the kids are like, "Do they know Cardi B?"
Mom, I'm looking this guy up. Is Mark who? Mark McGuire? This guy played baseball. That's not him. This guy's juiced to the gills.
Oh my god. Can we see Taylor Swift next time?
Yeah. Well, there's plenty of that, but it was fun, man. We missed you. I tried to get the word out, but every time I kept saying I have a show, people just got mad, and then I got drug out. So
Dude. Oh
I'm
man.
still strong though.
In Tonic, man. I just know the one song. You said there was another. They weren't just a one-hit wonder, I guess, but like I just know the if you could only see the way. And that shit slaps.
Oh, dude! But they were having fun too, and they were very appreciative to be there. That guy, the lead singer, looks significantly older, but it was fun, man. It was definitely, and I don't remember Tonic at all. That one passed right by me. I remember that song, and I wish I could find this other one. I think it's called yeah, "Open Up Your Eyes." You've heard it. You've definitely heard that one down. But hell yeah, dude, go listen to pop some Tonic on, and just have a brewski or a little Mike's Hard, and go back to those glory days, dude.
Oh, Mike's hard. Or the champagne of beers.
Why
Some good old
not,
high
dude?
life, man. But
That dude made do a white trash Arnold Palmer and mix them both and just get real twisted up.
man. Is that what White Claw is?
That's hilarious. Probably. I don't know. I've never had one.
Man, yeah. I
I'll take a Cayman Jacks, endorsed by Matt G. If happened in the '90s. Cayman Jacks, Steve. You had it. You guzzled a
yeah.
bottle of it down. But I'm telling you, just those little hand grenades of love that they give you in the 6-pack, it's nice.
Yeah, it gave me the Mike's Hard's memories, man.
Yeah, sweet. Give you a headache if you drank a lot of them, and probably jacked with 50 grams of sugar. But I find it tasty. As a girl drink aficionado, it's top notch.
Nah, man. Cayman Jack, I wouldn't even say that. A girl drink White Claw is a girl drink. Like, and I've
Okay.
unfortunately had that. It's like,
Isn't it just like seltzer with alcohol in it?
yeah,
That
dude,
sounds disgusting, dude.
just give me old duels. You might as well at that point.
Yeah, dude, just drink some rubbing alcohol and just get it over with, you know?
At least you get buzz. Hey, boys and girls, this is Steve G and Mad G with Happened in the 90s, a show where we talk about what happened in the 90s. So get out your wild thornberries and your tapes of Wild Wild West, because I have become cumbersome in this world.
Band, too rich or too white, too black or too white, too wrong or too right.
Day or
Day to
night.
night. Cumbersome.
Cumbersome. Too rich or too poor, she's giving me less, but I'm giving her more. A better days are cumbersome. Oh yeah, no, no, no.
No, 90s.
Dun, dun. Well, today, my friend, we're talking all things September 5th in the 90s. Starting off in 1990, we would lose American cartoonist, publisher who co-founded Eisner and Iger, Jerry Iger, aged 87 in Sunnyside, Queens of New York City. Now, I know you're a comic book guy, at least more so than me. And Jerry Iger, he is the great uncle of Bob Iger, the Disney mogul. I think the guy who replaced uh, Eisner, maybe.
Yeah.
And
He's the one that's in now, right?
he's the one that's in now, I believe, man. And they were a packaging company, Eisner and Iger, Editors Press Service, Jumbo Comics, Number One Fiction House, Fox Comics, and Quality Comics. I don't know if those ring a bell.
I'd have to see. I'm sure if I saw the art and stuff, I'd know like more about it. But the name definitely sounds very familiar. Obviously, because like you said, it's crazy. His great whatever is like the head of Disney too. You know.
Yeah, man, nepotism pays. And I'm not saying like maybe that wasn't the case. Maybe it was just because of his merit and his hard work. But come on, yeah, America, man. 2 years later, Batman debuts on television. The Cat in the Claw Part 1, and Catwoman steals a valuable necklace to fund the purchase of land for a mountain lion preserve, but is thwarted by a group of terrorists.
Yeah, dude, and I think like this has got to be one of the greatest pieces of superhero video. I don't even just to call it a cartoon, but it's one of the best things ever made, especially for Batman.
We're both Batman fans, it's fair to say. Uh, where would you rank this Batman in your the pantheon of Batmans? Like we're including the live action, the Adam West, the movie, and animated.
Keaton, Bale, this. So number three.
This is
This is
thriller.
very iconic because you get the quality of like the Danny Elfman soundtrack, but you also get and you know in terms of like a Batman like hierarchy, probably the most recognizable and best Batman voice ever with Kevin Conroy, the guy that did this voice. Because for
Yeah.
anything animated, I think they brought him back to do it until he died. He was doing the video games that came
Yeah.
out on PlayStation and stuff. And yeah, dude, at the time I liked X-Men more, but like this kind of 50s style animation with like the gangsters, it's almost like that old school like Superman animation with
Yeah.
you know just the way the dudes look and stuff is really cool. And they really pulled this off, and every episode was, you know, had this great just animation and style to it. And I really dig it. I didn't appreciate it as much when we were younger, but
Same.
as an adult watching it, it's like, man, this was just on TV. This wasn't like something that, and it even had a great movie that's infamously like one of the most violent cartoon movies of all time too, which is pretty cool. That Mask of the Phantasm
With Mr.
movie.
Freeze.
No, I think it was
No.
Joker, and there was like a guy with like I forget who it was. It was the Phantasm, but he just had
Okay.
like this crazy mask on with like a skull thing. It's pretty cool. It's really worth a watch. Um, yeah, dude. And it had I for the cartoon also, you know, they made up some villains, and they had some really cool like one-off villains like Clayface. I don't know if you remember that villain. That was like a big bulky piece of clay that could
Yeah.
shapeshift, but he was just a gigantic monster when you saw him. what he really was. It was really cool. So I'll stop. I'll stop just sucking the Batman teat right now.
Oh, thank you.
No,
Well,
but it's quality. I mean, did you watch it? Like, were you just like every episode watcher when you were a kid?
it's the same as you, man. I as a kid, I didn't appreciate it, and all of my attention when it came to cartoons like this, it would be just on X-Men every Saturday morning. And I didn't really grow to appreciate it until I became an adult. Honestly, man, I was a fan of the movies growing up, but I just wasn't periodically checking for it like that for whatever reason.
Yeah, and it was on it
I,
like it would be like they just have replays on ad nauseum for kids, so like it almost became oversaturated for me. But yeah, I don't know why because I was so into the movies. I don't know why this didn't
uh,
stick as hard, but
exactly.
I think it's because X Men was like more colorful and had more interesting like heroic characters with like crazy abilities, and this is just like a guy swinging around on ropes and stuff. It is what it is, but
Uh,
I don't know why it's crazy because the Keaton Batmans especially, well, all of them until the Clooney one, I was all in.
and this started right after Batman Returns, and the reason why the Cat and the Claw Part One is the first episode is to kind of bankroll off of the popularity of Catwoman. This is actually like I think the 13th or 15th episode in that they initially had in order, but
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah, so I this was like a business move to start it off with this episode. Catwoman, we started off with her, and she's scaling a building, doing her Catwoman thug thizzle. She claws her way into someone's apartment, and she sends her cat in to do the dirty work. And it looks like easy work because the cat just comes in there, gets through the little security alarm, and just yanks a necklace and brings it back to her owner.
I love the cartoonish. She has like these very sharp claws that she has, and her technique is to get up to some glass, just create a nice little circle with the claws, pop it out. It's very easy, Steve, especially when you have a highly trained cat that's trained to get valuable jewelry that you want. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's like a real cat or if this is like a robot. I don't know. Something about that cat that just seems like I don't know. It's got some superpowers.
That's like a conspiracy theory. I don't know. I just assumed it was a very intelligent cat, Steve. I guess I'm
Or
a glass half full type of guy, but
maybe just well trained cat. I read into things too
she's
much, man.
she's a cat woman, Steve. You saw the movie. You saw Michelle Pfeiffer. She was licked by cats, so she was imbued with some sort of cat communication. So
Yeah,
they have like a telepathy thing going on. It's like The Shining, basically.
very true. That's very true. And she thinks she gets away clean, but Batman is right there. He sneaks up on her and it catches her off guard.
But they get in a fight, Steve. But there's a little sexy sexual tension going on with Catwoman and Batman just straight from the get go. They're both like, oh, hello, another freak in a costume,
Yeah.
bodied up. I'm into that. But in the scuffle, Catwoman gets away. She's like, I'll see you later, Batman. But her cat almost gets killed, Steve. It almost gets run over. So not very aware, very trained, but once it's away from the mom, it's just it's in the middle of a street. It almost gets run over. But Batman, being the kind, concerned, solid citizen he is, he saves Catwoman's cat for her.
Yeah, after she dropped a bunch of trash cans on him, man, he's such a gentleman, the true hero. He's there for the babies and he's there for Gotham as well as his pets, and he saves the cat. And after that, like Catwoman's already at the top of another roof. She blows like a cat whistle, which I don't know if those are a real thing, and it
Yeah,
seems it is.
blow the whistle. Man, man. Blow the whistle. It is
It's
it's a thing, Steve. There's a song about it, but the cat comes to her, but then she leaves and she like blows a kiss at Batman, and Batman's just like he even has to throw a whistle because he's in love, Steve.
she scratched the fuck out of me, but damn, I'm hard.
God
And,
damn, I think this is like I took a Viagra right now. I gotta get out of here. Alfred,
uh,
get over here.
Mr. Wayne,
You
On my
busted it.
knees.
You've busted in the suit again, sir.
And the next scene, we're at this animal rights auction, and all the ladies love some Bruce Wayne. He is that dude in Gotham. He's got the look.
Bruce.
He's like Rick Rude meets Million Dollar Man. He's got the looks. He's got the money. Throwing some Shawn Michaels in there too, because they
Yeah,
think he's
dude.
cute.
That
They
would,
think
but
he's
we
sexy.
should get the video of him walking in and put that over it, dude.
He thinks
he's cute. He knows he's sexy. And they're just loving it, Steve. They're there to buy time with Bruce Wayne. This is a man meat auction.
pretty much just to be in close quarters. I think the initial offer was 500. Like, and in no time, 600, 7. They ran it up to 1,000 within 5 seconds. And then in comes Miss Selena Kyle. She just throws 10 racks, 10 of them things, and everybody just shuts up. But they still want to get a touch of some Bruce.
Bruce.
Tell
You
him
said
to
you were
touch.
going to go out sometime. Yeah. Oh, God. That was a blackout. But she's bred it up, Steve. She's got a little assistant. She's buying men for thousands of dollars. Bruce is as smitten with Selena as Batman was with Catwoman, which is appropriate.
Hell yeah.
But she's playing it cool. She's big dick and Bruce Wayne. They get in a room and he's like, "So where are we going?" And she's like, "Oh, we don't have to go out on our date. This is all for the cats."
Yeah. Don't get flattered.
Yeah. And Bruce is like, "But what if I don't take no for an answer?" Which, okay, Bruce, chill the fuck out.
Are
Okay.
you serious? Did you see all these holes all over me?
Yeah.
You just
But, you know, he gets her to they're playing around, they're flirting a little bit. He's trying to get a date, but then we hear some gunfire, Steve. Gunfire erupts. And Bruce Wayne's got to do what Bruce Wayne's got to do.
does he just have this outfit in his back pocket? Because he just went from Bruce Wayne to Batman like that. Like, he pops out and jumps on a getaway truck and he makes it crash. And one of the guys, he gets out and he escapes in the sewer.
Yeah, he pulls a Shawshank, but they get the other guys. And I always love this version of Commissioner Gordon too. He just looks cool.
He looks the part. He looks
Yeah,
like a commissioner.
exactly. He looks stoic. He looks old. He's got the white locks. Exactly.
Commissioner Garrett.
He's talking and he's like going around the scene and stuff, but him and Batman are buddies. So he gets into a dark corner and is like, "Yo, nice job, dude." Like, he's talking to himself, but Batman's listening. He's like, "Here's the thing though. I'm hearing that we got these people like Red Claw, I think they're called.
Yeah.
And it's like a terrorist organization." He's like, "This Red Claw person, they're in Gotham. And they are the most ruthless terrorist in the world. So I find that out, and now this shit's going down. What's going on here?"
More dangerous than White Claw, I'll tell you that.
Dude,
And
Red Claw, dude. I'll tell. We'll get to it.
Batman's just like, I'll see what I can do. So we cut to Selena's place as Selena Kyle, and she's getting ready for her date. And she's talking to her lesbian assistant. I wish it was Batman standing on the other side of the door, because he's there now.
Just give him a shot. He's Bruce Wayne. Everyone wants him.
Yeah. Except
Everyone
for me,
says
'cause I
he's
got girls.
exactly. I'm not into it because penises are gross, but you go for it. So Bruce comes in, and Selena's basically like, "Look," she's still giving him like this, like playing hard to get like situation. She's like, "You know what? It's just like, let's go, I guess." And then she gets a call, and her lawyer Martin calls. Like, "What's up?" No, he is, and and it turns out this isn't good news, Steve. This isn't boding well because Bruce is like, "I'm gonna take her out to lunch. We're gonna go out. It's gonna be great. She's gonna come back to my place for a little late afternoon dessert." But this call is about some investment she made, and there's this company called Multigon who I guess went around some purchase she's made and has taken this property that she bought to protect mountain lions, if I'm not mistaken. It was some kind of cat,
It's a
whatever it was.
preserve for the mountain lions, yeah. And like that's what's basically in her way of making this happen. And she gets off the phone and Bruce is like, "So where are we going?" It's like, "Well, if you can get me a meeting with the chairman of Multigon," he's like, "Say less. What time works for you?"
That's baller. When he picks up a phone and doesn't say, "Hold on 1 second." She's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Yeah, what time works for you?" Like it's like that's baller alert. The ultimate playboy, Steve Bruce Wayne. That's what I love. This guy's a psycho behind the scenes, wearing a mask and beating the shit out of people. By day, ultimate pickup artist. So appreciate that. That's awesome. Nice job, Bruce. So then we cut to Multigon. It's a very fancy place. The guy looks. Sometimes when they animate him, almost looks like he has a Hitler mustache. Um, but we get into this office. They're trying to shoot the shit. Selena's going at this guy. He's got a cool little gizmo that's like a piano keyboard that allows him to bring out like this crazy model thing. But I just thought that was cool. I was like, man, if I ever have a business, I want something that's activated by me playing a song on a piano.
Like
That's
some
pretty
Scooby
cool.
Doo.
Yeah, dude. That's ball. That's also baller. So we're on. What's this baller on baller crime right now, Steve? There's a lot of ballers in the room.
He shows them the layouts, like, you know what, the lions and that stuff. That sounds cute. I love that you care about them, but like, what's gonna happen is we're gonna build a mall, and then we're gonna build a big ass Foot Locker, and then we're gonna have some Jamba Juice.
You see, here was where you were saying that the mountain lions were going to cross over into that mountain range, but that's actually where the Cinnabon is going next to the Del Taco. So that can't happen. And that's, I think we're done here, guys. So
Yeah.
can you go? Because I got another song I got to play to bring out some other shit that I don't want you guys to see. So,
Beat it, toots.
yeah. But Stern, he's a hard businessman. He's got this. He's like the evil like guy that's trying to build the new cool like ski lodge on the mountain. He's that guy. He's the rich developer, Steve.
But Selena's not backing down because she says, I'm gonna have the animal rights people on your ace, like
Yeah,
flies the shit.
and
And right after,
I'll see you later. I'll see you later, Stern.
oh yeah,
Mother.
I love how his name is Stern. Like,
Yeah.
and like right as she leaves with Bruce, in comes Red Claw. She shows up, and it's like, we've gone too far to have someone get in our way. Let's keep an eye on this Miss Kyle.
She looks like she's in Shonuff's gang too. She's got like some cool like ninja duds. She's a tough looking broad, Steve. I thought she was going to be Russian too, but no, I don't know what she is.
It's funny you say that.
Fine.
She's voiced by the Russian from Orange is the New Black, who was also like this is nerdy. She was in the Star Trek, the not the Next Generation.
Oh yeah, dude, that is that chick. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But Red Claw, she's the most beautiful and dangerous terrorist in the world, and she's in Gotham. And now she knows who Selena Kyle and Bruce Wayne are, Steve.
Yeah, I'm from the naked eye test. I might have to go Red Claw over Catwoman. She's looking nice and tight in that outfit, Catwoman. But man, Red Claw got them bull Nakano thighs. Goddamn.
Yeah, dude. And so Bruce and Selena go out front, and Bruce is like, "So tomorrow we're gonna go out on this date tomorrow," and she's like, "Yeah, tomorrow. I gotta work. I got some business I gotta do tonight, though. I'm gonna be working late." And Bruce is like, "I'm gonna be working late too." Dun, dun, dun. If they only knew, Steve, they could just be drilling in that car. Throw a cape on.
If they could only see the way.
I'm busting on my bat cow. Black on white. Okay. So that night, Steve, Bruce goes home. He busts a nut real quick because he's got a little pent up frustration from the dates. And he's grilling a mob boss because now he wants answers. What's going on here? What's going on with this terrorist?
I want Red Claw. And if you don't give me answers, I'm going to lean in on you guys. Pause.
Yeah,
and the guy's just like,
hard. I'm gonna push in hard. The guy's like, wait, what?
Yeah. You like the feel of this leather on your skin. But And like the mobster guys or whatever, they have like the typical 90s like underling flunky voice.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do.
They got Tommy guns and shit. It's like, man, it's the 90s. This bitch has a rocket gun. You got a Tommy gun? What the hell's going on?
Pat, 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 pat. Stop shooting that motherfucker.
And while Batman's roughing up some toughs, Catwoman's going over to Multigon. And she's using the patented old technique I talked about earlier. Get them claws out. You know, somebody needs to get some glass that you just can't cut, dude. I don't know what those claws are made of, but
Bulletproof glass like I guess it could cut through anything. Them things are razor sharp.
yeah.
And Red Claw, she's holding a meeting, and she's just like, we're just going to stick with the plan. Tomorrow we're going to be transporting a plague. And while she's giving her speech, they see Catwoman because there's a hidden camera that's catching all of her her captivities, if you will. And after she sneaks in the multi-gun, and as they go to the room where she's at, she's already escaped. She went up the vent.
What the fucking plague, though?
A
The
plague.
fuck? Come on, guys. I can't stress to you how important this is to our mission. This bitch is all business with the plague of all things.
Yeah, she's straight business. I
So-
kind of turned it on even more.
Honestly, dude, I'll take a whack. I mean, hey, man, you gotta enjoy yourself after you get that plague. As long as I got a gas mask or something, I'm good, dude.
And like you said, man, she pulled out that Thule. Like I don't know if like cartoons were doing this back in these days, man, because like villains would have guns, but they would look cartoonish. This looked like a straight
yeah, dude. There's a lot of people with guns in this show, and it's still like when G.I. Joe was shooting, there wasn't lasers and shit. Yeah, this is back in the day when we were playing with realistic looking like toy guns and stuff. But yeah, she's got a gigantic like Wyatt Earp gun.
like the real deal.
Yeah, and she wants to make some pieces of Catwoman. And Catwoman's in the vents. They're playing this game now where it's very cat-like. She's running through the vents. Guys are chasing her through the vents. She's constantly evading things. And at some point, she gets, I forget does she get up on the roof now?
Well, like one of the guys was getting close to her. He was zeroing in, but he gets pricked by these miniature cat figurines. And that's why I was thinking like she's not carrying these things in that sleek outfit. Like, is it the cat? Like, is this a robotic cat that spits out like fur balls, but like instead of fur balls, they're like these like little thumbtack little miniature cats.
It's like cat-shaped razor blades or some shit. It's something crazy, but like, yeah, he gets stuck with it. She throws poison blood on it. He's got AIDS. She's playing that kind of a game. The long game. It's like, man, I'm feeling real sick since that cat lady pricked me with those things. They're like, man, you need to go to the doctor, bro.
Yeah, a little flush in the face. But she does go to the roof and they follow her. But again, she soars into the air without a care. And her cat, she lets the cat go over the ledge on the next building. But as she's climbing to get over, Red Claw shoots at her with this big rocket launcher and it crumbles the building and she's fallen. But again, here comes Batman to save the day.
He was just rubbing one out on a rooftop thinking about her. And he's like, wait, oh, perfect timing. This guy's, I gotta say, dude, I think what Red Claw has, now that I'm thinking of it, remember in Predator, Arnold Schwarzenegger had that like grenade launcher that was like a handheld one? I think that's what this is, honestly. But it looks like a futuristic pistol.
The Jumbo Joy.
Also, when she's running, I love, this is related to the gun thing. She gets on the roof. She puts like a wooden board against the knob to like block the door, like wedge it so the door can't open. The guys don't even try to bust through like with their feet. You just see bullets go through the door and they shoot the board out. It's like these guys are just ready to fire some guns, Steve.
For real.
This is TVG, okay, guys? Let's not have some bloodshed on this.
I mean, they knew what they signed up for, but Batman, he makes a clean escape. He saves Selena again, and now it's time to talk. It's like, all right, let's get to the bottom of this. You got to take off that mask because if I don't, the police will. And as he approaches Selena, or Catwoman, if you will, as he approaches her, she does like a little judo throw and throws him off the ledge. Like, bitch, I just saved your life.
Bitch, help! She kills Batman just because of that. But I also love that she kisses him when he like swings and saves her, and Batman's like, "Oh damn!" He like busts right when she kisses him. He gets surprised, Steve.
Yeah, I
He
know she liked
melts.
me. Yeah, as soon as I climb back up this motherfucker, it's on.
Batman, what's that wet spot?
Because she said, I'll see you later. Oh, yeah, you will see me later.
And then we cut. Well, yeah, Batman gives her this whole like cheesy speech that he has to give every criminal about how the law separates them. They're not the same. They're doing vigilante stuff in costumes in Gotham, but they're not the same. Steve, she's a cat and he's a bat.
Yeah.
Okay, it's simple as that. I can't stop rhyming. But then we cut to Catwoman's apartment again. Selena's got this baller place. She's got her little uh you know, intersexed secretary here waiting to wait on her hand and foot. And this is her name too, Steve Maven, who I believe was a wrestler, if I'm not mistaken as
A
well. I believe,
guy. It was a guy.
yeah. Okay, my bad. Um, but she tells Maven, she's like, you know what? I think I might just be able to save those mountain lions yet. And I think this is actually part one of a two-part episode. So there's to be continued on this, Steve.
Yeah. And after she says that, there's a guy like sniping or just kind of like stalking from a distance. And apparently he has like some audio equipment because he could hear this conversation with the binoculars. And he's like, but who is going to save you? Dun, 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 dun.
Ba-ba-ba-bam, ba.
Man,
Ba-ba-ba-bam, bam, bust in my costume.
another pilot under our belts, man.
This is
I mean,
great, dude. This is a
it
great
was.
show that I'm telling you, I didn't appreciate it much, and I think something that's fun about this show specifically for me and for you because we both kind of consumed it the same way. We haven't
Yeah.
seen a lot of these episodes, so you can probably go through and see some cool stuff
Oh
that you
yeah.
just missed because we didn't watch all of them.
Yeah, man. Eventually, I will, man, and I like to get into those made for TV kind of like off kilter, like like Batman projects that they have because Max has like the whole library just about, man.
Yeah, they have like a crazy amount of animated movies that I don't know. I guess I just wasn't into watching animated movies for a while, but they're
Yeah,
like good quality, and I think they're like fairly. It's not like just kiddie stuff, it's like fairly like adult stories. I don't know, but
for
yeah, dude,
sure.
I dig this, and not only did it give us all the great things we talked about, it gave us a top 10 Batman voice, and it also gave us a top 10 Batman Joker voice, I guess, or interpretation of the Joker played by Mark Hamill, which is fantastic.
Very true. Which I mean, you could argue is the best Joker, depending on who you ask. Depending on the age range. Some people think that's the best Joker, but
I
I'll
gotta
still
say Nicholson, dude. I still have to
always.
stick with it. I love Heath Ledger's Joker, and it's great, and it's dark, and it's scary, and funny, and stuff. But Nicholson's is just so over the top and hilarious and cool that I just can't. I can't go against it. It's
It's
perfect.
it's set, man. Like I don't think it's going to change for me either. Like Nicholson is my Joker. Like
This city needs an enema. Dude, and he bitches out his little buddy all the time. He has that little like midgety guy that Gary or whatever. There's just some guy that's always hanging out. I think maybe it is Gary. I don't
I
know.
think it is. Also in 1992, September 5th, Goof Troop premieres on television and it lasts 2 seasons, 78 episodes. The classic Disney character Goofy is a single father raising his son Max in Spoonerville. Pete, a frequent antagonist from the old cartoons, lives next door with his family.
I think I like this more of the nostalgia of the movie, Steve. I didn't watch the cartoon a lot because I feel like Goofy's kind of a no. He's not my favorite character of that era. Let's put it like that.
I only fuck with the duck. When it comes to the OG Disney characters, just give me the duck and its relatives. And I tried to watch this on Disney Plus. Actually, I did watch the pilot, and I was like, I know it's kind of big deal for our era, but man, the Goofy character I can't get behind because he's cool with being punked all the time. And Pete is just an a-hole. I guess that's the relationship they have. Oh, hey Pete, you want to kick my ass today too?
You want me to eat this shit sandwich, Pete?
Right in front of my son?
Yeah,
Like, get
that
some
is
nut.
a weird thing because they are like buddies. It's like they're antagonistic friends. I guess it's like grumpy old men. They hate each other, but they need each other type things.
Well,
Um,
like in the pilot, he's just being a complete. I'm assuming like he lightens up on Goofy over time. I'm guessing it's like Uncle Phil and Will in season one, and then over time it's like, oh, okay.
Pete and I are hanging out, and he's not making me jab myself with hot cigarette butts. Yeah, dude. But
Exactly.
I enjoyed this show because this was like something that would come on, and maybe it would come on before a cartoon you wanted to watch on like a Saturday, or
Yeah,
maybe it would just be like replaying, and every once in a while you'd watch it. But I will say that this led to a great movie.
it did.
The Goofy movie was a great animated film, even with Goofy and stuff. It had awesome animation, it had awesome songs, and it was really cool. It was very much underappreciated by me, but I've since seen it because my wife loves it so much, and it really is a good movie.
It's a cult classic, man. That following year, 1993, Married with Children is airing season 8, episode 1, A Tisket, a Tasket, Can Peg Make a Basket? When Al and Peggy go to a basketball game, Peggy switches seats with Al, and her seat is chosen for a $10,000 free throw contest.
How could it end, Peg, any other way? This is such a great episode of the show. Weird choices for celebrity cameos slash love interest, but we'll get to that.
Yeah,
That's the only time that's ever going to happen. But we start this, and first of all, again, the song, you gotta love the song in the intro. I love that they change like the plates with like the people, but like that
yeah.
ending where he's just handing out money, that was just so good. They're like, we're just gonna leave. This is staying in this forever. This is not gonna change.
You established the show with that shot right there, man.
Yeah, that dog just eats that money up. I always was like, man, they fed that dog money. That's so awesome. um, but we started, and speaking of the dog, him and Bud are watching the TV together. It's cute. But then Bud starts getting a little bit in his feels because he's watching this like news story about owners, like dog owners, starting to look like their dogs or vice versa. And he's like, that's not true. And then everybody keeps calling the dog Bud. So it's clearly something's going on here,
And
Steve.
calling him Buck. Like,
Yeah, dude. He's like, come on, guys.
yeah.
I'm this cute. I'm cute. Fucking, I'm Bud. But no, Al comes in. Oh, and I do love this. Like before Al comes in, Peg's saying something. And he's like, "Your dad's coming home." He's like, "Oh, is he going to tell us about the seeing a fat woman at work?" And that's
Yeah.
exactly what happens, Steve. Because like apparently that's every a day at a shoe store. It's just some big ladies trying to buy some shoes.
Hey, another day in the life for Mr. Bundy, man. And another thing, something I like when we're in season 8 now, and at this point, Al Bundy is solidified. He's like TV Hall of Fame level character. So at this point, anytime he comes in for the first time in an episode, a roaring applause because he's like one of my favorite TV dads, and like America, they agrees. He's up there, man. Um, so I think he refers to Bud as Buck too when he comes in.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, "I'm Bud." He's like, "Oh yeah, whatever." Anyway, this chick enormous. She's so
Uh,
fat she had three smaller fat chicks orbiting her.
yeah. And then after that, she pulled out her size 13 foot, and I had to fit this shoe on her ginormous feet. But after that, she put out these 2 tickets to the Celebrity All Star game. Now, who do I go with?
Yeah. Also, I love. He's like, they're like, she just gave it to you for free. He's like, no, $1 a piece because I guess she's getting divorced and it was her ex's ticket. So she's just trying to fuck him and just get rid of these things. And I was like, yeah, no, it wasn't free. She was charging $1 a ticket, which I didn't have. Thanks, Peg. And looks over and like just stalls real quick. But then he stole some out of the fountain. He stole a little money out of the charity fountain at the mall or wherever. And he stole a little out of that charity mint box that's in front of every cash register in the 90s just to
Yeah.
get those tickets, Steve. But he's got two. And like you said, now who's going to kiss this ass enough for me to take them? Or who am I going to take? You guys are
And
waiting on pins and needles right now.
and of course his son Bud wants to go, but he tells him, "Bud, you can do nothing for me. I need someone with influence. How about the manager at the nudie bar?"
Yeah, I forget what that guy's name is. We'll get to him. But then, is this where Marcy and Jefferson come
Darcy's.
in? Yeah, the
Yeah.
Darcys come in. They're going to a show. Captain and Tennille Unplugged.
Ugh.
I mean, you get high and listen. What does Captain and Tennille play, Steve? Is that like some yacht rock? I don't know.
I want to say that's 80s era, maybe late 70s, 80s.
Do that to me one more time. It's probably one of those songs, Steve. But Jefferson, it's hilarious because he's like, "Yeah, we're going to see this," and Al's telling about the basketball thing, and he's like, "Al, I need to go. We need to get me into this game. I got Marcy's Discover card, and I gotta get out of here. This is Captain and Tennille Unplugged.
Yeah. Come on.
Come
Like,
on,
dude. I already maxed out her MasterCard. Please take me out. And Jefferson, like, once or Marcy talks him off the ledge, like, no, you're coming with me to Captain and Tennille. And he's just like, I can't go, Al. I didn't invite you.
Yeah, and Peg wants to go, but he's like, no, no, we just don't think alike.
We don't
You
like the
know?
same people. For example, you like you.
And then Bud comes in, and I guess the guy that you were talking about, the titty club guy, Ahmed, Bud called him to see if he was available to go, but he can't because it's silicone night at the titty bar, Steve.
On the same night as the Celebrity All-Star game. Damn it.
Silicone night? That's insane. I love that, Steve. Are you going to Silicone night with Al Bundy? That's a party.
Because it's Al, I prefer real titties, but like, yeah. Kicking it with Al, shit.
So, looking big ass, like hard titties jiggling in front of you. those big, yeah. You know, the ones that you can see the bag on the side, Steve.
Oh,
Those
ugh.
90s titties. But, you know, then Kelly comes, and this is some standard All-Star weekend behavior. I know this isn't the real All-Star game, but this is some real things. Kelly comes in. She's like, guess what, guys? Going to the All-Star game. I was like, how'd you get tickets? She's like, I don't need tickets. I got this.
Yeah.
And I got to agree. I mean,
Yeah.
if I was an All-Star, take my money, Kelly. But Kelly's, she's locked in. And if this is her way out, because you know she ain't going to think her way out of her problem. So, you know what? I support this behavior. But Al's just basically like, none of you motherfuckers are going. You're not going. You're not going. I might just go by myself. But then we cut to the actual All-Star game, and Al's with Peg. And she's
Yeah.
got all that stuff they sell you, Steve. She's got the $30 program. She's got a foam finger. I mean, who's paying for all this?
She's got a Patrick Ewing groin pull doll, and I didn't even know those existed. Where'd you get that from, Peg?
They need to market that now. Somebody on a toy company get that. That's great.
Now, Peg, rule number 1, no talking. Rule number 2, if I look at pretty girls and you ask me if they're prettier than you, the answer will always be yes, she is. In some cases, yes, he is.
And it's one of the most rinky-dink all-star games of all time. See, this is in like a high school, I believe.
They got high school uniforms. Look at
Yeah.
Vladdy.
Vladdy's in there just with a straight-up like Big Lots fit. It's not even that. It's like
Bayside.
Hobby Lobby. It's like those blank shirts you get at craft stores, Steve. They don't even know. Number 12. That was ironed on 5 minutes before he put the jersey on. Um, but they're getting ready for it. There's some excitement, and lo and behold, Tina Turner's scheduled to sing the national anthem. And I at first I'm like, Tina. They got her on Married with Children, but then Tina turns around and it's Kelly, Steven. She's rolling on a river right now. She looks insane, but she's
It's
pulling off some of the moves, I gotta say.
some of it. I found it hilarious that she comes out and it's like a little fake Tina Turner song, and then like after 2 seconds, the music just stops, and then she just cuts into a national anthem. She stands by Vladi Divac, and like it's god awful. But what I was thinking, Al ends up saying like not too long after that, like at least it's better than Roseanne.
Yeah, yeah, dude. But I love how Kelly's like trying to sing the national anthem, like "Oh say," and then she'll cut over and like just like side talk Vlade and be like, "I'll give you everything. I want to suck the soul out of your body. Can you see?" So she's throwing it at Vlade. But this is where I'll just say it now. I can definitively say that unless it was in his home country, this is the only time that Vlade Divac and sex symbol have been mixed into the same potion, Steve. It's usually not the combo that you're thinking of. But young Vlade is he's a little more handsome, I gotta say. He looks
I
pretty
mean,
bodied up.
when you're 7 foot and above, I think you're given grace. People can overlook things, and the fact that you're an NBA player. And whoever wrote this episode has a gripe against Danny Ainge, because when they announced the All Stars coming out, it's time for your All Stars, and Danny Ainge.
I mean, damn. Yeah. What team was Danny Ainge on at this time?
He was with the Blazers. He was Clyde's teammate.
Oh, okay. Well, Peg at this point, she has to go to the bathroom, Steve. I was just trying to enjoy a game here, but she doesn't want to go by herself. Can you please go? He's like, okay, Peg. And he goes, misses like a quarter of the game, Steve. I don't even know. It's a solid amount of time. Comes back only to hear, that's the most exciting quarter of basketball I've ever seen in my life. Who talks like that at a game, Steve?
Yeah.
Hey, guys. Wasn't that the most insane quarter of basketball you have ever seen? These players, they're stupendous. What
Like
is that?
freaking, it's like, okay, Dick Vitale. And like when he comes back, he's like, I want to watch this game in silence. But right after he says that, he starts doing his little chants. Nice hair, Riley. Hey, you're a tool. Hey, Charles Barkley. Hey, why don't you lose some weight? You're fat as fuck or whatever. And then Peg, she chimes in. She's like, hey, Baldy, are you a real player or are you Sinead O'Connor with a tan? And it's none other than the X-Man, Xavier McDaniel.
And he is not happy, Steve. This almost becomes a Malice in the Palace type situation because Xavier turns around, grills that area because he doesn't know where it came from. But, Peg blazing on Al. Al takes one for the team. Xavier just straight picks him up, gets in his face, and then he shoots a three with him, Steve, because Al's in the bucket.
Yeah, Al is not no little punk. He's like 6'2", 6'3". Used to play high school football, and he just perfectly swishes a grown man. And before this happened, I was please be a fake person. Throw that shot in there. Let it. But no, they just cut to him.
Right? They should have.
Oh.
They must have just not had time to get that because that would have been hilarious. So now Al not going to any parties with Xavier McDaniel, which that's sad. He seems like a cool guy. Little bit of a hair trigger though. Tell
No
me that's the
question.
worst thing you ever heard as an athlete.
Like seriously, of all things. And you played in New York before, Xavier. Come on now. And now it's halftime. And Peg wants to trade seats because she can't see. She thinks she sees Joe Piscopo of SNL fame. I was just like, no, that's not Joe. Oh, it is Joe Piscopo.
Joe, nice guns, buddy. Guy is jacked.
Yeah, he did end up getting jacked for some reason.
I think that was a carrot top disease. He just like people were making fun of him. He's like, you know what you can't make fun of? me fucking jacked as fuck. And people are like, oh yeah, we can, because you look crazy as hell.
Yeah, with that curly hair. And like, so he does agree to trade seats with Peg. And right as they're trading seats, there's an announcement for the winner of the $10,000 free throw challenge. And the very seat that Al was sitting in is now Peg's. So she gets a chance at the 10,000 of them things.
I love the salty like assistant guy that comes down. It's like I was like, but she's not, she can't make the shot. And the guy's like, that's what we want, Jay.
Yeah, of course. Keep the money in the house.
Yeah, dude. Oh, this is Al's hell, Steve. But you know, they go in the back, and then it's halftime. It's time for a little cheerleader show. Cheerleaders come out, everything seems above board, but then Kelly comes out in a cheerleader uniform. I guess maybe she beat the hell out of somebody or just like found one on the ground, but she doesn't know the routine, Steve.
She's dancing to her own rhythm, but she doesn't waste this opportunity to not say anything to Vladi again, who's still out on the court for whatever. I guess they're just coming back from halftime, but she runs up to him and she's like, "I can make you very happy. Oh, you can help me set up my VCR." It's like, "Here's my number," and she's got her number written on her ass. He's like, "There's only 6 numbers." "Well, I'm not easy."
Damn, dude. Vlad, in my country, we would take you down and wash you off for being so dirty. Where is Vlade Divac from, Steve? Serbia?
Yugoslavia.
Oh, okay. Well, Kelly's trying her best, but maybe there's a communication barrier here. He can't read the signs, Steve. He's like me. I just don't know what. Does she like me? I don't know.
Is there something in my hair?
I don't know.
And the other barrier is the security that escorts her ass out of there. And now it's time for Peg to make the shot or shoot the shot. You only get one shot, word to Eminem. And if you make it, you win the 10 racks. Now, just one question, Peg asks. What's a free throw?
$10,000, Peg. Peg steps out to do the shot.
Yeah.
Salty guy's giving her the business. But then she's got a little help. She needs a little guidance, Steve. And none other than Clyde the Glide Drexler shows up.
That's right.
And he's trying to give her some advice, Steve.
Yeah, Clyde, man, I really loved his play. He was one of the best shooting guards of all time. And like when he just come down the court, it was like he slammed the ball and he really did glide far as far. He would just be
Dude.
like,
So he would run past everyone, jump in front of everyone because he was jumping from, it felt like he was jumping from like halfway between the 3-point arc and like the baseline, like that way. It was just so far. It was further than the free throw line, it felt like.
It was like he was really flying, man. And
like Clyde, dude.
Like Al, he tries to interject, like, "Hey, Peg, just shave your hair," and like it's like you're not even here anymore. And she's just like, "You know what? If I practice, I can be just as good as that smoking Joe Louis or any of those quarterbacks." He's just like, "Fuck, Peg, do you know what I would do with $10,000? Yeah, spend 10,000 nights at the nudie bar. No, just one really good one."
Yeah. You have any idea what it's like with 10 grand at a silicone night? You have no ideas. I'm going to die. I'm going to OD on silicone.
Take all my money on. They're practicing. And when Peg shoots the practice shot, she accidentally hits the X-Men in the back of the head. And he's already hot-tempered. So again, he takes Al, and this is a slow wind. He just like kind of like does a little ring around the rosy swing and just throws him down the commentator table.
Yeah, the announce table. It's like when in Westerns, they put a guy on the bar and just run him down. He takes he lands in the water bucket. But Xavier McDaniel, come on, man. You got to go to some anger management classes. I thought he was going to shot put him, Steve, honestly. But it was a very comical, like, slapsticky attack. I like that.
And again, no fake person. I mean, it was a stunt double. Those are just as, they can be just as funny. But it would have been better if it was a fake mannequin.
And then Al gives like an NBA. He's like, NBA in your house or something.
It's fantastic. They were actually doing those back in the day, man. So just the nostalgia all over, man. So they announced Peg coming up to the free throw line, and the announcer says, "It's a woman." Boo. Who does that?
Damn. I mean, and as she's getting ready, he just keeps interrupting her. He's like, he's got one shot to go. And she just keeps pulling it back, Steve.
Just think of the line from that famous commercial. Just do it? No, let go my ego. And like, yeah, even
What
before
if Clyde was like, no, no, not just do it. I'm thinking ass to ass from that Requiem for a Dream.
the fuck? And like you said, man, she gets interrupted every time she even like does a pump for a shoot. And after like the third or fourth time, he gets strangled. And this is one of the many things I love about this show. They take digs at each other all the time. They can't stand each other. Al doesn't want to have sex with her, but there are moments like this where at the end of the day, he's got his baby's back. And he's like, you know what, go ahead, shoot it, baby.
You just hear his voice. It's like the voice of God, Steve. It's hilarious. Yeah, but you're right. They do all, even Al, he doesn't like Peg, but he loves Peg. You know?
So
So now it's
authentic.
time to shoot that shot. And she does. I would have, personally, if I'm a first timer, go underhand. You gotta, I feel like there's a more natural rhythm. She goes for a straight basketball shot. And Clyde Drexler sees the arc and is like, man, if Danny
Yeah.
Ainge had a shot like that, we would have won the championship.
Yeah. If we had her instead of Ainge, yeah. It's like, what do y'all
What's
got against
up,
Ainge?
guys? Yeah,
He was a
why, y'all?
He was a great role player. He won a championship with the Celtics. He made it to the finals with the Blazers, and then the year after that, he made it to the finals with the Suns. I think that's who he's with at this point in '93. But back to back finals. He was a good role player. But hey, shout out to Danny Ainge. But she misses, and for somebody of Peg's stature, it wasn't even like an air ball. It was a legitimate miss. It at least touched rim.
Yeah, she bricked it, but she still got it. Was close. We've all done that. I've missed a bunch of free throws in my life. So she tried. And Al shows up and he's like, you know what, Peg? It's totally fine. She's like, I'm sorry about the money, honey. He's like, it's fine. It's how else could this end? This is me. This is you.
Yeah.
You know? I should have been there. I should have had the greatest night of my life. But you did. This happened. And that's what's the reality is. So Al might go put a gun in his mouth tonight, but you know what? He loves his wife.
He loves this boo thing. And as they walk off, Peg throws the ball behind her. Perfect swish.
And if you look in the background, because you see like the crowd behind the basket, there's a guy in the front that's like, like they freeze frame on it. It's hilarious.
I did catch that. But yeah, man, love this show. 11 seasons, man. You could do a whole podcast on this show if you wanted to.
And in the time when a season was like 30 episodes. So how, the actual numerical amount of episodes there are through 11 seasons is huge. But and this was something that was like sort of trashy and there was like a lot of adult stuff in it. But this was a family show. I used to make jokes with my family as a little kid and sit on the couch with my hand in my pants like Al Bundy all the time. Just that, it was like something that everybody was watching because it was so funny and good.
And every now and then I try to let out a "Let's rock" because that's just one. It's just one of the coolest things to me, man. Like I sound like a Bronco record man, but he is one of my favorite TV dads. I have to put him like he's top 5 for me. He might be Mount Rushmore. He might make it to one of the top 4. But yeah, man, like the Bundy family.
He's the 90s Archie Bunker,
He was.
For real.
Minus the racism. But on that same day, Two Stupid Dogs premieres on TBS. It will last for 2 seasons, only 26 episodes. Thought it was longer. A not too bright canine duo get into all sorts of mischief and trouble.
I just remember the theme song because it ended with two stupid dogs. But I didn't watch this other than knowing that. Like it just never was on my radar.
Yeah. And maybe it's one of those things we'll appreciate now that we get stoned from time to time.
That makes everything. Eat an edible. Everything will be good.
Facts. This is the first series to be produced and premiered on the Superstation after Ted Turner bought it in 1991 from Cincinnati, Ohio. I got to throw that in anytime.
Man, what's that show called? Two Stupid Dogs.
Sure, let's buy the damn thing. On that same day, Daddy Dearest premieres on Fox. In that lasts one season, 11 episodes. A single father's angry and cynical father moves in with them. Hilarity ensues. And it starred Richard Lewis, once again, O State alumnus, go Ohio, RIP as well, and Don Rickles. I Before we recorded this, I watched the pilot on YouTube, and it's funny, bro, because you got Richard Lewis, who, you know, as a stand-up, wasn't crazy about, but he was good on Curb Your Enthusiasm. He's good when he's bouncing his energy off other people. And whenever you put Don Rickles in front of a camera, it's always going to be comedic gold. At least it always was to me. I think the issue was it had Don Rickles in it, and this was the '90s, because the pilot that I watched, man, he would go on his tirades, man, and some of the stuff he would say would literally be racy.
Oh yeah, I mean that was his whole thing. I
That
mean, we
was his
just
whole
said that.
thing. And I don't think Fox knew what they were signing up for. I mean, you had to know who Don Rickles was at that point, but yeah, it couldn't last too long, man, because
It,
I don't even think all 11 episodes aired.
it's crazy they gave him a show like on a real show because
Yeah,
first of all it's not like he came out of nowhere. He had been roasting people since Frank Sinatra was young. So there was
exactly.
all of the footage of him saying all the stuff that I'm sure is on this show, but I obviously there's a reason I don't remember it, but you're right. I don't hate Richard Lewis either. I think he's pretty funny. Rest in peace, obviously, but I do think he's had some funny stand up. But to have those two guys as like the heads of the show, I love that. That's pretty cool. But I
And
have to say, it's pretty close to Frasier's recipes. So, Steve, I'm getting a little. What happened here?
No, I mean, I get that angle because it does have a dad coming in to move in with his son, but I think the big difference is the fact that it's Don Rickles, which kind of like
Yeah.
breaks up the dynamic, man. And like, I, I feel like he has this clause in his contract where he's allowed to go off script because some of the stuff he was saying on this show, man, like they didn't script that. This is specifically coming from Don Rickles, man. And R.I.P. to that legend. That's somebody I didn't appreciate or know about fully until it was like almost too late, man. But like his old stuff from the '70s, like his roast, one of the best roasters.
Yeah.
And I wished the FCC or whoever would have been a little bit more loose with their standards because Don Rickles, if you want a good comedy, you want somebody to laugh. That's the purpose of a sitcom. Don Rickles can always make a motherfucker laugh.
He was a great night talk show guest for this every reason you're saying because he was racy. He would say whatever he wanted, and that's what you want for that. For something that's like a prime time show, probably not.
It's a roll of
You
the
can't.
dice.
You got a little less wiggle room there, but yeah, dude, Don Rickles, hilarious. Also in a lot of just awesome movies. He's in Casino. He's always like he's just like that guy. He was popular for so long.
Dirty
You
work.
know, yeah. I'm trying. I mean, God, I don't even know how many. Like he was in like a lot of like the more modern roast. They brought him in when they were doing those like Friar roasts in the '90s that Comedy Central would host.
Yeah.
Friars Club roast, I think they were called.
That following year, 1994, San Francisco wide receiver Jerry Rice catches 2 touchdown passes and runs for another score in 49ers' 44-14 rout of the Raiders. He would pass Jim Brown as the NFL's career touchdown leader with 127.
Legend.
GOAT.
I mean, there's nothing to say about the guy is probably the greatest wide receiver of all time.
Yeah, I mean, he is the one, well, not the only one, but one of the few that I give a pass because I hate that team, but it's like, man, damn it. I can't. It's Jerry. Ugh. Ugh.
Also famously in just like insane shape that nobody could tell. Like even as now, he's like in insane shape as like an older dude. But yeah, he's one of those guys. Like it's like if you hated the Bulls when Jordan played, it's like what am I going to say here? You know, like this
You can't.
sucks, but especially for me, it meant nothing. You know, it was just a player that was great in the NFC. But for somebody that likes the Cowboys, that's gotta suck.
It
You know,
did, bro. It so did, and it's just the same thing with Jordan. That's
you know, you had to deal with this 49ers having Jerry Rice. So when you guys got TO in that back in the day, was that just like a nice little like, oh yeah, that's nice. How good
I
did
felt
that feel?
it felt so good. It's like, man, you won't embarrass us anymore. Not
Yeah.
not at least in another uniform. You're gonna be if you're gonna embarrass us, you're at least gonna be wearing our uniform and you're gonna score touchdowns. And I hate that he was let go. Didn't like him when he wore that uniform, but I understood his value. He's one of the greatest, man. Probably in my on my Mount Rushmore of receivers. But yeah, man, I just can't hate on greatness for too much, man. It's
No,
always fuck Tom
and
Brady though.
Jerry Rice. Yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is. I can't help it. He's broken my heart too many times. But Jerry Rice, dude, just still to this day, he's a great analyst. He seems like he's a great father. I'm assuming, and he's just great. Was fun to watch, and he in football. I think it's always crazy when you see people who, when people know they're great, can still demolish people because they're planning to like defend you and nobody could really defend him, you know.
Yeah.
Him, Randy Moss, To, you know, there's not a lot of them.
You could throw in Megatron. I think his Achilles heel was just being in Detroit all those years.
Antonio Brown before the crazy dude, when he played for us, that guy,
Mhm.
it was crazy. Like he could make crazy things happen because he was so athletic, but something happened. I don't know. I think it, to be honest with you, conspiracy theory time. Remember when he took that vicious hit from Burfict that like made him ragdoll? I think it was like in a
Yeah.
playoff game. I think that's what did it. I think that snapped something in his brain.
That's the
Because
one people point to all the time. That specific play.
I mean, seriously, because he got messed up, but that's tragic and it stinks. But it is what it is. But he was another one of those players, and you're right, Megatron. We've seen a few. As a Steelers fan, I would say Lynn Swan. We didn't get to
Oh
watch
yeah.
him play, but you know, so yeah, dude, Jerry Rice, salute to you, dude.
And that following year, Seven Mary 3 would release their second album, American Standard. And this is the one with Cumbersome. Damn.
Dude, I'm telling you, that's a crazy song because it does bring back like I can almost like see look what like on a drive with my mom like in a McDonald's drive through like you know fucking, oh my god, but is this the only like real hit that they had, Steve?
They had other releases, even just on this album, but this is the only one that I know of that really stands out. Like, I didn't hate the song. I liked it as a teenager. I think 40-year-old Steve really loves it though. It jams.
Cumbersome. Too rich or too poor, she's wanted me less, and I wanted her more. The bitter taste is
Cumbersome.
cumbersome. How
Oh,
her,
no.
you know who needs to do a cover of that? Trey Parker. He does a great like that voice. He should sing. I want to hear. Yeah, exactly. I want to hear that.
Like that faux James Hetfield kind of vibe. Somebody who probably didn't get American Standard from Seven Mary 3 is probably American shortstop Cal Ripken Jr. because he ties Gehrig's record of playing in 2,130 straight games. And we've talked about him before, but I mean, this was big, man. Like he tied it. Eventually, he would break the record, just like Jerry Rice, Cal Ripken Jr. It's something that's not going to happen ever. It happened in the 90s. You're not going to break that record.
What was the regimen though? Because they play so much. Like, and this guy was starting to get gray hairs and still be like
Yeah.
with this record. I remember this time because every time he stepped out in a game, it was like they had to say something every game because it was just like this is
Every,
crazy.
it was heavily documented, man. And I think the regiment is here, Matt. It's here. You know, he's a Baltimore boy, and if in a fantasy world, I'm playing for the Cleveland Indians, I'm going to do anything in my power, broken shin, ACL, MCL, I don't care. I want to go out and show out for my team. And I feel like maybe that was, a big spark for him. The fact that he's playing for his home team, and that's something that you're not going to see in modern times. This was rare, man, when somebody's actually getting drafted from their own backyard, playing for their whole team that he played from his whole career. So you want to show up and show out, man. It's kind of like,
That will never happen again. Playing for a team for your whole career, that basically never happens in any sport anymore, which is crazy.
Yeah. Like, I can't think of one example. If we're going through all the sports, Larry Fitzgerald, I think he's been a Cardinal his whole career. They haven't done much. They went to the one Super Bowl that y'all won, but there's some loyalty there.
Yeah, I mean, that's really it. Because now it's crazy how much stuff has changed in our lifetime, because I remember watching ESPN, and when somebody had a contract dispute like in the 90s, that was like insane. People were like, this guy doesn't appreciate the sport and stuff. It was like huge news, and it never happened. And now it's like every time somebody gets paid, everybody else is like, hey guys, we're restructuring this deal, or I'm not. It's like, what is going on here? This is crazy.
Yeah, some of that is too much information, man. Like the whole CD Lamb thing. Like, dude, just hurry up. Like, he's the best we got right now. Just pay him, Jerry. You can afford it.
I mean, it's definitely great for ESPN, because now what they can do is just have stories that have no merit. Speaking of, like, from a Steelers perspective, for like a month, I've been hearing they're about to get Brandon Ayuk in this mega trade and this and that. No, just a month later. So it's just like something for them to talk about, really. And it's probably way less complicated than what they make it out to be. But yeah, dude. But you don't like something like Cal Ripken, where, like you said, played for the same team, there's so many stories there. But then on top of it, the amount of games that he never took a day off. And it's a baseball schedule, so that's like grueling at times.
160 plus games, I think, man.
It's crazy. That's why I kind of got out of baseball, because it's like I can't pay attention to a full season. I got to like just tune in at the end, I guess.
Yeah.
I can't do this day to day. I don't have the time.
Like, wake me up in September. 1997, Fire Down Below premieres in theaters. A federal agent uncovers lucrative toxic waste dumps in Appalachia and must deal with the locals who want to keep their gold mine secret. Directed by Felix Enriquez Acala, starring Steven Seagal, Marge Heldenberger, Harry Dean Stanton, Stephen Lang, and Chris Christopherson.
I thought this was just a movie about Steven Seagal having an STD.
The fire down. Oh, God.
I got a fire down below.
It itches down there.
It burns so hot when I pee.
This type of shit was on YouTube, and I really tried, Matt. I tried to get through it, but man, Steven Seagal's acting was never great. And even worse, it's the extras, the side characters, and it's way. If you think his acting is bad, watch Fire Down Below. And like the child actors, this is something that makes me gripe. One of the things that chapped my ass, never discussed this. I get it. You're a child actor. You're not going to be. We're not expecting Morgan Freeman. We're not expecting Leo. But man, if you're a bad child actor, oh my, it's just so hard to watch, bro. It is just. Oh, I instantly, when those children started talking, get this shit off my screen. Get this shit off my damn screen. Kill it with fire, Jesus. Kill it with fire.
That's a tough look. I mean, get some My Buddy dolls and do some ADR, do something.
You know what I mean? Like, everybody can't be Macaulay. Everybody can't, but man, when they're bad, oh.
Yeah, Fire Down Below. It's like a couple of hot chili peppers going through my urethra right now. I do want to point. I have something funny about Steven Seagal that I just found out recently, and I want to share it so everybody watches it. It's audio, at least. There might be video attached to it, but it's Steven Seagal. He's singing this song that I think is like sort of like a fake Rasta song, but one of the lines is like, "I'm getting some punani." Like, I'm telling you, dude, it's so good. It's so bad, it's good. So just type in Steven Seagal song punani, and I guarantee you'll find it. It's comedic gold. You'll love it.
That sounds about as bad as this children actors, man.
Yeah, I mean it is. I mean that'll stink of even the best of movies. I would argue a lot of people think like the Phantom Menace movie, that first Star Wars prequel movie, people hate that because of that kid, that Jake Lloyd kid that from
Yeah.
Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
Man. And then you get, if it's a movie people want to like and you suck it, you fucking just ruin it, then you just hate it for the rest of your career. You can never dig your way out of it.
And I'm surprised Steven Seagal had a run that went this far, man. But also, 97, Julian Po premieres. Christian Slater stars as a mysterious drifter whose life takes a fateful turn when he stops at a sleepy small town. Directed by Alan Wade, starring Christian Slater and Robin Tunney.
And Michael Parks, famous for playing the sheriff in Dust Till Dawn and Kill Bill movies. He's a badass. I've never seen this movie, Steve, and I love Christian Slater. But this movie sounds bizarre. It's about a guy who wants to kill himself, who gets his groove back in this small town.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I think it sounds like he's looking for pity too. I don't know, like he wants to carry out the act of suicide, but at first the locals are like, "No, man, your life doesn't suck, man. Every time you wake up, it's like God giving you another chance, kind of deal." But he's persistent, and he finds Robin Tunney from The Craft, and she's been in other stuff. But I really like The Craft because yeah,
mm-hmm.
yeah, we're both fans of Christian Slater, right?
Yeah,
And like when we were talking about Pump Up the Volume, I didn't realize he had like this is kind of his niche, like dark. He was a teen in the 80s doing those kind of films, but like Heathers, while the Brat Pack, while they were doing like these light-hearted John Hughes movies, he was in Heathers. And then Pump Up the Volume had a pretty dark tone to it. And then True Romance. And even Julian Poe, like watching the trailer, this obviously has a dark turn because the guy wants to commit suicide. And I don't know,
well,
maybe
Pump Up the Volume has a suicide that Christian Slater. So Christian Slater, huge proponent of suicide, guys. You heard it here first. We figured
yeah.
this out.
And I wonder if that's by design, if that's how he wanted to go about his career. Like, do I just want to do like just want
He's an artist, man. Jack wouldn't do that, man. Give me Pump Up the Volume, bro. I don't know. I mean, I guess I see that, but then he was in like The Wizard and stuff too.
true. He
So,
was.
but he was, I think he kind of was the brooding kid in a lot of things. And then that led to like some really cool movies like True Romance and stuff where, they needed like somebody that was like innocent, but also had like kind of an edge. Cause that's kind of what
Yeah,
his thing was. He
that
was
was
like an all American like dude, but then something's going to pop off.
he's the Dylan kind of guy. Like he's the guy that you want to hang out with after school in the parking lot, smoking some Newports or joint, what have you. He had that cool vibe to him, man, and like that's one of the best things about Christian Slater, man. It seemed like he just kind of created his own lane, in my opinion.
And he's prolific. I mean, he's been doing stuff forever and he's never really stopped. I think
Yeah.
people always like dig what he does. It's just for a while, I think everybody was making fun of him because he's kind of doing like a Jack Nicholson impression. That was kind of like the joke. But
Yeah.
he's great. I mean, I dig a lot of Christian Slater movies, so I got to agree. I don't know what happened, but he did kind of not go through the like that traditional like do a couple of romantic comedies or do like a bland like sort of appealing movie. He just kind of stuck to doing these. They're not even small movies, really. Maybe this
Yeah.
is.
Like this
Maybe
definitely
Julian
was.
Poe is, but it
Yeah.
made 50 grand.
That's how much it made?
That's what it says on the Wikipedia. It made 50 some grand.
Again, Alan Wade, y'all made as much as
Ooh.
I make working on Excel spreadsheets. You could have just given me that money, Hollywood.
Christian Slater needed to get paid, Steve. But this doesn't make a lot of sense. It's a guy who wants to kill himself who just walks into a town's like, hey guys, FYI, I'm suicidal. So just know that. I'm a live wire. I'd be like, keep your fucking distance, bud.
Heathers, you remember that? Yeah, that was a long time ago. But somebody probably didn't watch Julian Poe in 1997. It's probably Albanian Indian nun, missionary, and saint, Mother Teresa. Nobel Prize laureate, born in 1910. She passed away at the age of 87 in Calcutta, West Bengal, India.
Mother Teresa. She's one of the. Isn't she the only person who was like a living human that got sainted?
I don't know if she's the only, but that did happen in her lifetime, man. And you know,
For
I
what that's worth, I don't know how much that's worth, but that she was always the pinnacle. She was like, for anybody who was a good person, the stereotypical thing to say was, "Oh, they're the mother. You're like Mother Teresa." You
yeah,
know, she's that. She's the Kleenex of being a good person.
the
The Band
Q-tip.
Aid. Yeah.
Yeah, the Band-Aid, all of that, man. Like if she ain't up there, I
I
ain't got a
mean,
shot.
you know what's crazy though in this day and age? I guarantee you, if you look at Mother Teresa, there's gonna be like a couple of videos or articles. They're like, "Here's the sinister underbelly of Mother Teresa." It's like, what? Come on.
Yeah, she's fucking dropping it low and shit. Like she's in some couch, like a
Yeah.
fucking strip club in some
Mother
dark alley.
Teresa used to stab people with dirty needles and gloves. Like, wait, what?
And then she would twerk for dollars. Like,
How do you
um,
think she made all the money for those kids?
yeah, dude, just a lifetime of giving. And yeah, man, RIP to that legend. That following year, though, we lose another person, American actor and director Leo Penn, age 77, famously known as the father of Sean Penn. He was an actor himself, but he's so old school, born in 1921. He was a part of that House Un-American Activities Committee, and he refused to name or throw out names and under all the suspicion. And he was one of the guys who got blacklisted, and made him hard to get work. And like, luckily, that didn't affect his sons. We wouldn't get such great things as Colors, or Reservoir Dogs. He found acting work in television, and CBS ousted him after receiving an anonymous accusation that he addressed the communist political meeting. So he was barred from acting in film or television, but he did become a director.
He was a commie, Steve.
Yeah,
It's one of those Reds. That's
Central.
crazy. I didn't really know that Sean. I mean, I guess I never really thought about it, but I didn't know he came from like Hollywood. I thought he was just, him and his brother were just,
Like first generation
yeah,
stars.
like
Yeah,
he popped off in Fast Times, and Chris was in Footloose, I think.
yeah.
Legend,
R.I.P. to
dude.
him too, man. I always go to Reservoir Dogs, man, because just he killed that shit.
Stop pointing that gun at my fucking dad, dude. He's so good when they're talking
He was.
about. Oh, sugar or whatever I forget the cop show that they're talking about in the car, but he's
Yeah,
great in that movie, dude. Chris, you know what a movie he was great in? I forgot he was in until I saw recently. Rush Hour. He's
the
in
first
it
one.
brief. Yeah, he's great in
Yeah,
that. He's funny. He's. I mean, dude, crazy. Like he kind of like bulged up a little bit. He's a skinny little guy in Footloose, but by the
yeah,
'90s, dude, he was really he was a bulky Penn. You know.
yeah. Started juicing, man. But any callbacks, honorable mentions, or takeaways?
Shout out to Mark McGrath, my new buddies, Steve.
Oh, your
Hanging
besties
out.
now?
Yeah, we're besties. Mark. Yeah, dude, check out Lit. That's my thing. Go listen to Lit, Tonic, and Sugar Ray, because if nothing else, if you grew up then, you're just gonna smile a little bit and just remember when you were cruising in a car listening to whatever your local rock station was back in the day.
If you could only, I'm definitely gonna listen to that song because that's always been my shit.
She loves me and made us understand. If you can only.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of 90s ladies, Steve, in Columbus that day. So 90s going strong. Everyone loved it. The 90s vibe was great. And yeah, dude, check out some Lit, some Tonic, and some Sugar Ray. What
Mm,
about
mm,
you?
mm, mm. Man, well, RIPs are in order. I missed last week. I didn't call out the RIP for Phil Donahue, man. He's a television legend. I think he preceded Oprah. He was kind of a big deal when Oprah was still kind of learning her chops, man. And another Daryl Hammond impression that is impeccable. I think,
Yeah,
and I think before Daryl Hammond, maybe Phil Hartman did it. but I remember seeing some great Phil Donahue impressions on SNL, man, and like he's been in the game. Like I don't think he really took time off because even when his show stopped, he was still involved in other projects, man. So R.I.P. to him. And of course, over the week we lost Sid Justice, aka Sid Vicious, aka Psycho Sid, Sid Udy. In the wrestling world, when you say Sid, that's really all you need, man. And
And
a
we're
lot of
live, bud.
we're live, pal. Yeah, man. And then the what was the one with Kevin with the outsiders in the ring? He's like, "I'm twice the man as you and half the brain." Like, like I get what he was trying to say, but he just flubbed it, man. And but on a serious note, man, one of my favorite power bombers, probably he might be my favorite power bomber because he would just he did it with authority, just like, uh,
And one of the best second tier theme songs. It's not up at the top, but that one that was like dink dink dink.
Psycho.
Just the like it was because it was like
Yeah.
it was perfect for him because he couldn't rock a mic at all. He was not blessed with that ability in any way. But the visual of Sid Vicious, Justice, whatever you want to call him, was perfect. It was he was gigantic, he was scary. He was good at looking pissed off.
Yeah.
But just the things coming out of his mouth, it just, it didn't all line up right.
The master and the ruler of the world. You never I don't think there's ever been a more intimidating person with a Jerry curl.
Yeah, a
So
blonde one at that,
uh,
Steve. A
yeah.
blonde, wet Jerry curl. But just to get it to like hit back to him being great and just his involvement in great things, he was involved in one of my favorite wrestling things of all time, and that's Shockmaster's
I
introduction.
was hoping you said that. Yeah.
I
He
mean
helped
that.
sell that.
He sold it. That's the only time he ever rocked a mic well. And unfortunately, just like Al Bundy, everything should have lined up for that to be great. But that's his luck because he was killing it, and then fucking Tugboat pulled a L and just lost it. It's like, well, we just wasted that good take. Fuck.
But his part, like Sid's part, made it funnier because he didn't break character. Like this is obviously a comical moment that just happened, but he's still Sid in character. And he's just like, "You listen, boy. You listen." It was just too much.
I will kill you. Like, yeah, dude, you're right. But that's crazy, dude. I didn't honestly. I thought like before we started doing the show, I thought Sid Justice or Vicious died a long time ago. I just assumed his head popped because he got too pissed off. But
Man,
damn,
well,
dude, he made it a while. I got to give him credit for a big dude that was a
yeah.
wrestler. Time's ticking. He made it a while. Did he look? Was he like? What did he look like as an older dude?
I've seen picture of him with his grandkids, and he looked like a happy granddad, man. And like
Hell
by
yeah,
all
dude.
accounts, he didn't look out of shape. He definitely wasn't jacked up like he was in the
He didn't
90s.
have these things. He didn't have
The
the delt neck.
the lats, well, the picture I saw, he was sitting down, but I'm sure there were like, traces of it. And by all accounts, man, complete opposite person behind the scenes. He was a big sweetheart, always smiling, always jovial, cracking jokes, man. Something I would not expect from somebody like that. Just very intense. So I give him credit for that because that's some great acting. Like when you can just snap, like be
Yeah.
all like happy and go lucky, and then as soon as you go through that curtain, you're just ah. But and also another RIP to Fat Man Scoop, who just passed away the morning that we're recording this, man. If he doesn't clock for you, Matt, you've heard his voice before because he's considered one of the greatest hype men of hip hop. He has a very recognizable voice. Single ladies, I can't hear y'all. Single ladies. You've heard his hype work before, man, and like
Okay.
he had solo albums out too, man. But yeah, one more thing, Martin, they're airing the episode, got to be there, and this is the one where Gina goes off on a work trip, and Martin
Oh.
he's like all suspicious, so he sneaks up on her, goes into her hotel, and I just love the scene where he comes from underneath the bed, like.
Slow-mo.
Yeah, like Incredible Hulk. Like that will never not be funny to me, man. So
Is
that
that the one where we see the white coworker guy?
Bill
Party starter.
Bob from accounting, yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's a great character too. I love Bob from accounting.
I'm out of order. She's out of order. This whole party's out of order. But please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Please tell your sister her life has become awesome. Check out Food Show Fanatics with Matt and Kendra, as well as Crushgasm every Wednesday with Kendra G. Our guy Clark the Shark on Podcastle, always on YouTube. This is Steve G and Matt G with
Happened in the 90s.
Matt was the fat kid, Steve was the flat kid. Life wasn't always great, but you know what was? The 90s. Happened in the 90s. Yeah!